not that anybody asked, but lines of longitude on Earth. Every 15 degrees is approximately one time zone. They get adjusted to go around national borders and state boundaries, that sort of thing. But lines of longitude demark time. Yet all lines of longitude meet at the poles. So what time is it at the poles?
Welcome back to 5D Mystery School. Let's get into it. So I want you to keep that clip that I just played in your mind. And if you watch my Exit the Matrix, the Sims lecture, then that clip makes a lot of sense to you. If not, just continue to watch. So there is a large great circle on the map of Earth that connects a lot of ancient sites, like Easter Island, the Nazca Lines. Side note, you see depictions of monkeys all throughout ancient signs and symbols, and we still use them today. Ollanta Tambo, hope I said that right. Hora Torari, and again, pyramids, Tassili in Niger, and the Great Pyramids of Giza. And I'm going to keep it on this because the Pyramid of Giza is the most accurately aligned structure in existence, and it faces true north. The estimated weight of the Pyramid of Giza happens to be 5,955,000 tons. Multiplied by 10 to the power of 8, this gives you a reasonable estimate of the Earth's mass. And that's just to give you an overview of the astonishing precision that takes place with these ancient structures. Now, these ancient sites are shown clockwise from Giza on the equal azimuthal projection. This projection is centered on the axis point, and the axis point is in southeastern Alaska, which is close to the North Pole. Since all of the sites on the Great Circle alignment are equally distanced from the axis point, at 1/4 of the circumference of Earth, it forms a perfect circle between the center and outer edge of the projection. Now, with this knowledge here, my lecture about the North Pole should make clear sense to you. Now let's take a look at some of these ancient sites. Okay? They all are very uniquely similar. It's one of my favorite ones. Of course, Machu Picchu. Take a look at the stairs. Take a look at the emphasis on the center. All right, just keep looking and form your own opinions right now. Notice the similarities. I mean, wow. All right, keep looking. Notice the symmetry. Notice the attention to detail. Okay. All right. So hold on to your analyzation really quick. Let's go a little bit deeper. There are some occult symbols that all seem to be pointing north. Of course, you have the Mayan calendar. You have the pentagram, but of course it's reversed. And for one more, you have the Masonic compass. Okay, so this is the Fibonacci sequence. We'll go deeper in another lecture, but it's part of the mathematics that runs our world. And this Fibonacci sequence can be seen everywhere you look, literally. It shows up everywhere in nature, and it's all spiraling from the center. Now, this resembles the center of our flat Earth planet, with everything coming from the middle, like time coming from the middle. But I digress. Now, keep this 5 by 5 in your mind. It's going to come back up in a second. Matter of fact, keep all these numbers in your mind. They are all important. Take a look at the golden ratio in the human body. Our DNA, our anatomy, our physiology, it's all connected to this Fibonacci sequence, this golden ratio. Our pineal gland is a perfect example of this sequence. So this isn't like somebody's opinion or somebody guessing what's going on. This is actually a fact of what's going on and how our reality works. And it's a key to unlocking the secrets of our DNA, but that's another lecture. For one more example, take a look at the ley lines of the 188-day quake cycle. Look at the Fibonacci sequence. Look at where the earthquakes took place. This is an entire lecture by itself, so let's move on. But take note of this. But you can see how the anatomy of the human body went into making these ancient structures. As above, so below, the anatomy of the human body was designed using these mathematics, using the golden ratio and the Fibonacci sequence. We were created in the image of these almighty, ambiguous creators. So if you take that Fibonacci sequence, started at the magnetic north, and run it around, it would run along this great circle. So literally a key to life. All right, you guys, look at this detail. Look at the meticulous and intricate details. These are ancient sites. They didn't have power tools. And some of these sites will actually take us a while to duplicate today. The key word here is ancient. Take note of the flawless finish and aging. Now, how are they able to achieve this with like the small chisels and levers and not even hammers, but these makeshift tools that we were taught about in school? Now, these sites are spread out throughout the world, but they all share similar details, like the huge doorways. All right, take a look at this doorway. You see, very similar. They put a large emphasis on these two poles and the doorway in the middle and the stair, implying some sort of journey upward. All right, take note. Right. And of course, they all share their location on the Great Circle and pointing to the axis point, the North Pole, and magnetic north to be exact. And another thing that they shared was this emphasis on squaring the circle. It can be seen in the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's used as a symbol in alchemy. It can be seen in ancient artifacts and other ancient sites in Stonehenges. Take note. Of course, we have the infamous Stonehenge. This one tells a story about going to the center. And we have another squaring the circle. Now, squaring the circle is also mentioned in the Bible. Okay, so the Bible references the four corners of the earth a lot. Pause to read. The gatekeepers were on the four sides to the east, west, north, and south. He measured it on four sides and it had a wall around it. The length was 500 and the width 500 to divide between the holy and profane. And you, son of man, thus says the Lord God to the land of Israel, an end, the end coming to the four corners of the land. After I saw four angels standing at the four corners of the earth, holding back the four winds of the earth, so that no wind would blow on the earth or on the sea or any trees. Wait, but where does wind come? Never mind. Pause to read the rest here. And one more here. He saw the sky opened up and an object like a great sheet coming down, lowered by the four corners to the ground. That one is important. Now you see all the references to four corners of the earth, but how is this possible on a round earth? Could this be a reference to squaring the circle? And the ancients knew, so they made structures to symbolize that connection? Like, this wasn't just one group. This was several different groups throughout the entire earth at different times of existence. And they weren't spending a lot of time on social media or the mall shopping. They were staring at the sky. And they had several structures dedicated to observing the sky and the movements that went along with it, like Stonehenge or the Great Pyramid of Giza at True North. And like we went over in another lecture, they had ancient discs dedicated to the sky. So several different civilizations who dedicated their days to observing the sky came up with structures like this, and this, and this. I mean, if they can do this with no power tools, like, where do they really come from? Now take a look at this ancient map of magnetic north in the four ways, and look at the Mayan calendar. You have the center here in four ways, and it's pointing north. So keep this image in your mind, don't lose it. Now look at this. Do you see the connection? And there's a hint here that there's a great outer ring that encompasses all. So you have the inner ring and the outer ring. So it's like a great circle encompassing the center. Just like some of these structures put emphasis on the center. Now in modern times, we call that great outer ring the ice wall, as seen in several maps. Alright, take note. So recently there was a data leak from NASA and SpaceX of an unedited photo of Earth. Now take a look at the outer ice wall, the moon and sun, and it looks the same as this, or this. I mean, they even have the North Pole in the crosshairs here. Until the next video, keep this point in mind. There are 180 lines of latitude and 360 lines of longitude. Those both give you 9, and the North Pole is at the 90th degree. Think on that, like and follow for more. I love you. Peace.